everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about my single mom journey. For me, watching YouTube has really been very helpful for me when I first became a single mom, like seeing and hearing the story of other women who are also single moms and them being very vulnerable and being very strong in terms of sharing their stories really helped me a lot emotionally to go down this path of single motherhood. So I wanted to pay it forward to see if sharing my story might help someone else out there right now who might be struggling or just might be very confused about everything. So in this video, I'm going to be very authentic, just going to be open and honest with you guys. And again, hopefully I can, help one person. So my journey started on Tinder. I feel like Tinder is it's like the devil. Oh man, Tinder has caused so many issues in people's lives from a romantic standpoint. So I met my daughter's father off of Tinder, just swipe right, swipe left. We connected, we sent a lot of messages back and forth. We went on our first date. It was great. And the chemistry between us from like day one was like really strong. So our relationship really moved forward in a super fast way. So it wasn't too long after us meeting each other that we started trying for a baby. And yes, this was something that was verbally said between both of us, and we both agreed to this. So it wasn't a oops situation. It was very much calculated. Like I was looking at when I would ovulate and when it's like the best time for us to, I think they call it, do the baby dance every month to get pregnant. So we were very much eyes wide open in terms of what we were trying to do. Now, I think a big part of that had to do with our age. Again, I'm 36 right now. When I met him, I was 34. At that time, I thought he was 36. Come to find out later, he was being honest about that. But his real age at that time, again, I thought it was 36. He was actually like 42. So I think age had a lot to do with sort of how fast our relationship progressed and what we were trying to do. So we tried for a baby, and to my surprise, because I never got tested for any type of like fertility treatment or anything like that, we got pregnant pretty quickly. So we got pregnant on our second try, which is really quick and not what I was expecting to happen. But again, we're both on board, very much eyes wide open. So get pregnant, we're living separately. The plan is to, move in together. We'll have the baby, be a family. We're going to get married shortly after. I think the plan was like 3 months after the baby's born, we're going to get married. The first 2 parts, I would say, happened. So the baby came, we did move in together, but the marriage part didn't follow suit. And the reason for that is because we had a lot of issues between us. So I think even before the baby, if I'm completely honest with myself, even before the baby, I saw the red flags. I knew we weren't necessarily the best match, but you try to make it work, right? Like we've all been guilty of trying to make things work that in hindsight, looking back, we're like, what the heck were you thinking? Like that should never work. That was such a bad idea for you to even attempt to make that work. So we separated, and we're no longer together. We've been separated for, broken up, whatever you want to call it, for, let's see, maybe 4 or 5 months at this point. There's no going back. He already has a new girlfriend. I've moved on. There's no going back there. So it's 100% over. Now, I want to talk about single motherhood a little bit. So that's like the story, right? So in a nutshell, I saw all the red flags before the baby. Like so many other people, I overlooked it thinking things would ultimately work out. It did not. It blew up in my face. and now I'm on this journey of single motherhood. Now, what I can say about single motherhood is that it's hard as hell. Like, now, I don't know if that's because I'm weak, I'm not as strong, I don't know what it is, but to me, it's super, super, super hard, and it's not something that I would recommend anyone doing. I think, especially on social media and even YouTube, there's a lot of like mommy vloggers, mommy YouTubers who love to kind of portray motherhood as like rainbows and glitters and flowers, and not really be authentic about what it really is. So, the part where they're expressing all their love and, they love their kid and their kid is like the best thing to ever happen to them. Okay, I can understand it and I can accept that part. Like, you love your child. Yes, I love my daughter to the end of the earth. I would do anything for her. So that part is true. The part that I don't like that it don't portray is all the challenges that come along with it. Now, I know a lot of these influencers, they might be in a different dynamic. A lot of them are married, so they have like a whole second person to help them, plus family on top of that to help them with the responsibility of raising their child. So their reality might not be as intense as a single mom that you're everything, right? So there's two ways I feel like you can have a rainbow and glitter motherhood experience. One is either you are financially in a position to hire help, similar to like a celebrity, right? Who they basically have like 24-hour nannies. So they're the mother, yes, but the actual like difficult work they've basically outsourced to someone else. Like, they're not staying up all night with the baby. They're not missing gym appointments. Their lives really don't change at all because financially they're able to hire someone to do the mother responsibilities, to be honest. And again, that's no shade to anyone who can financially afford that. I'm actually jealous. I wish I was able to financially afford help, because I would 100% hire like 2 full-time, 7 days a week, 24-hour nanny, because it's that hard, in my opinion. So that's one way. The other way are individuals who have a lot or have a very strong support system. So individuals who, grandma, auntie, great aunt, cousin, BFF, uncle, brother, whomever you want to name it, are very involved in that child's life. So they're readily available to babysit. They visit often. They're buying this. They're doing this. They're involved in this. So that individual has a lot of help, right? Even if you're throwing a spouse, like, they have a strong support system. So the burden or the work of raising that child, they're just a part of it. They're not it. So those two situations again, those individuals, it will be challenging for them to view motherhood as challenging because they have so much help, if that makes sense, right? So they might be like, oh my gosh, I love being a mom. Like, it's like, I adjusted perfectly. Like, oh, like, it's like all rainbows and flowers. Again, because they're getting so much help from external sources. But for us women who are not fortunate to have those choices, and again, those two scenarios are not to necessarily throw shade at those women. I'm jealous. I wish I had aunties and grandma and uncle and cousins who were like, do you want me to babysit this weekend? I'm like, I'd be like, sure. You can like babysit every weekend if you want. So for individuals like me who single motherhood really means that. Single motherhood, meaning that we're the ones holding down the fort. There's no dad for us to offload the kid to. There's no grandma, there's no auntie, there's no BFF, for us to call and be like, oh, I want to go on a date, so, come over and babysit. They're like, sure, like we don't have those type of resources. In those situations, it's extremely, extremely challenging because everything is you. Right? Like this past weekend, my daughter, she got sick and I had to take her to the emergency room. Well, guess what? I had to do it. There was no one for me to call and be like, oh, you know what? Can you take her to the emergency room because I actually have some work to do and some other things that I need to cut. Nope. Right? Like there was no one for me like, oh, we're in the emergency room. Can you come and, come visit and help out, things like that, so I can get a break? Or nope. Right? It's just me and her in the emergency room, like heads down, like just got to be there for her, right? And of course, I don't hold any of this against her because she didn't ask to be here, right? Like similar to all the other kids, right? She didn't ask to be here, so she shouldn't suffer for any poor decision making that I made. So, it's definitely challenging. I thought, even after my ex and I broke up, I thought, well, you're older again. I'm 36. I've gone to graduate school. I have a career. I make a decent living. I've been living on my own since the age of 21. So I'm used to supporting myself and not relying on anyone. And I thought that would make this transition easier, but no, it's still hard as hell. I know I'm rambling a lot now, but it's been a very, very, very challenging story. My daughter right now, she is almost 1 year old. So I'm just starting this journey. And again, it's hard as hell. So, I don't know what's to come, right? This is my first child, my only child, and most likely will be my only child, unless I get married to an amazing man and, we decide to have one more child. I'm open to one more and that's it. Wrapping up, that's my, single mom journey. I'm still on it. I'll maybe come back on here and share some additional insights on it, but it's definitely been hard and not what I expected at all, in a bad way. I thought it would be easier, but it's actually much, much, much harder. And again, this is my experience. I know there's some superwomen out there who can be single moms to 5 kids and, hold down a company and 1,000 other things all by herself. Yes, there's extremes to the rule, but I would say the average single mom out there is, if they're really honest, they will say, again, love the kids to the end of the world, but it's a challenge day in and day out. So sharing this story, I hope I helped someone who maybe, is not experiencing the best feelings as a single mom and might be feeling a little guilty for feeling that way. Just know that you're not alone. I'm there with you, where I'm, some days are really great, some days are not so great, and you have those days where you're crying and things like that. But I hope I was able to at least help someone out there, again, who is feeling alone, who's feeling like no one can relate to them, especially, again, if you are really the one kind of holding everything down. You don't have that support system. You don't make all this money to hire, a nanny, to be there 7 days a week or even 5 days a week. Just know I'm in the trenches with you. I'm trying to push through just like you, and over time, I hope that things will get better for all of us. We just have to focus on getting through one day at a time. I used to future think like, okay, what I need to do 3 months from now, 6 months from now, what I need to do this, nope. Now I'm like one day. Yep. Today we need to get through today. Let's get through today. If we can get through today, all right, tomorrow, let's get through tomorrow. Like literally, that's on the level that I think right now, because otherwise it can become very, very overwhelming. Again, when you are the sole person doing everything. All right, guys, so I think I've rambled enough. Hopefully, again, this helps someone, and stay strong. Stay strong. I know it's hard, but stay strong. And I will see you in the next video.